Hi. So how's everyone doing? Y'all had a good week? Has everything been okay? Um, Let me just try to do something real quick. Hi. How have you been? Okay, so I know you probably weren't here last week, but I talked about beauty and art. I'm good. Glad you're good. So I talked about beauty and art and crafts and art, creativity. That was what it was. Creativity, art, beauty, crafts, all that. And I told what creativity means to me. And so I would like to ask, what does creativity mean to you? To me, it means just, I think that everyone is creative and that we were created to create and to make God's world more beautiful, just to add beauty or to add our own uniqueness to God's beauty. Because there's no way we could like improve on it, but oh, that's a good one. Having a talent from God and using it, I agree with that. So down in the description of this video, I have the questions that I had put on my video from last week that I wanted people to think about, and so I'm gonna talk about those right now. So the first one is, what is your favorite color? I want to know what your favorite color is. My favorite color is turquoise. It's just my all-time favorite color ever. I think it's such a happy color, such a pretty color. So yes, that's my color. So purples and blues. Awesome. Those are awesome colors. Um, so to go along with that one, excuse me, is, does this color describe you as a person? Please explain. Green and red. Oh, awesome. That makes me think of Christmas. I'm sorry. That's just all that comes to mind. But see, well, we'll get into that a little bit later. Um, um, so do you think that this color describes you, that your favorite color or colors describe you as a person. I think that my favorite color of turquoise and really all light blues. I love light blues. My favorite hue or color or whatever is turquoise. Shade. My favorite shade of blue is turquoise. But that's my favorite color. If anybody asks, that's my favorite color. But there's so many shades of it, and I like the dark and the light of it. But yes, I think that turquoise describes me as a person. I think it's a very pretty color, and it's a very happy color. It's a very laid back color, peaceful color, and I tend to feel like I am a little bit that. But when it gets into like the really deep turquoise, I think it can be very beautiful and very rich and very not passionate like red is passionate, but very, I think it can be very deep when you get into the colors. Okay, alright. Um, okay, cool. But I think that the turquoise in the very deep colors, oh yes, I like that too. Oh yeah. But I think that the deep colors of turquoise, oh yeah, I have a whole Pinterest board devoted to birds. I think, or at least I might have deleted it, but at least I used to. And if not, then the birds are on my nature one. But yes, I do love colorful birds. But I what was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Um, oh, the deep hues of turquoise, or when turquoise changes into other colors, and you could maybe it goes into the jewel tones and stuff. I think that describes me because I can be kind of not really deep, but I can kind of some aspects of my personality or my moods or just me can be kind of. I like to talk about philosophy sometimes or think about it or I like to have good discussions on different topics and delve deep into that and sometimes I can be kind of moody, kind of just or sometimes kind of just very, I guess, somber would be the word. So yes, I do think that my color very much represents me. Okay. The next one is, what is creativity to you? We've already established that, but Katie didn't tell what creativity is to her. So I'll wait. But I want to come back to the color discussion, and it kind of goes with everything. and we'll talk more about that in a minute. I just want to wait just a minute to see what Katie says about what creativity means to her. Because I don't think there's just a what does creativity mean to me. I think it is dot dot dot. No, I think that creativity is different for each person, but I think that each person is creative and has creativity. Okay. Good question. Creativity to me probably means a way of expressing yourself visually in your own work. I don't know if I would say visually. To me, it doesn't just mean visual because, yes, I agree with that, but I don't think it's just, I have a hard time wording things. Well, you worded it perfectly. My only thing is that I think it's more than just visual. I think that creativity is taking, I think it's, okay, your observations and feelings on life and the world and the way you think and feel and experience things and your emotions and react to things and everything. I think that you take all of that and your likes and your dislikes. Because if somebody doesn't like a certain color or a certain something, they're not going to use that in their creative pursuits. But, and like Jatan said, I think it could be music too. I agree. I think that creative pursuit is you're taking in everything. It's everything you're taking in, and then you putting your own thoughts and feelings out. And that can be in a play that you produced or wrote, or it could be in a painting you painted, or it could be in music that you created, or in something that you cook, or it could be in, I don't know how to explain it. It could be in something that you made that is made to be felt. Like, I don't know what you would call it. Like, maybe a rug or encouraging others. Yeah. So, that's creativity to me. And it seems to be the same with y'all. Okay, so the next part of that question is, do you consider yourself to be creative? Why or why not? I consider myself creative, and I think that one reason that I consider myself creative is I think God created humans to create. Well, okay, I'm gonna kind of go back. I think that, and this is gonna be a little, okay, yes, I think God created a man. I totally agree with that. Um, but I think God created humans to create. He wants, it's all in, God gave us a brain and a heart and He gave us feelings and all this, and He created creation. He created everything, and I mean, He wanted us to take all of that in. Hi, Freaky. Sometimes, some days I feel creative, and I'll do something creative like painting or drawing, etc. It all depends on how I feel, I guess. Okay, awesome. So, okay. So, like I was saying, I think God created. Ooh, Sissy Cross. Hey! I think God created the world and everything in it, and then we have our brains and our hearts and feelings and thoughts and everything, and the ability to create thoughts and feelings. Okay, that's fine. Um, and I think what we're supposed to do is see the world and see everything that is within us and without, and then put that back, put that in our minds and our hearts, and come up with something to put out in the world. Hold on, I've got this. Oh, I love bright colors and ocean colors. I'm just a colorful person. Oh, that's so me. Okay, you love those colors. Okay, do you feel those colors? Okay, what was the question? Do those colors describe you as a person? Do you think they do? Um, so that was what? Okay, yes. Okay. Um, okay, do you, okay, what is creativity to you in a way? Okay. So we're waiting for Sissy Crafts to tell us what she thinks what creativity is to her. Oh, okay. That's really awesome. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Totally. It helps me calm down and relax. Oh, yeah, totally. And then, do you consider yourself to be creative? Why or why not? Okay. Okay, first off, like I was saying, ditto. Okay. First off, like I was saying, I think God created me to be creative. Yes. So, but created all humans to be creative. And another reason I think that I'm creative, can you repeat the question? Okay. You answered what is creativity to you. You answered that one. And then, do you consider yourself to be creative? Why or why not? And I consider myself to be very creative or to be creative. And I think that One reason, one other reason other than the fact that God created me to be that way is because I find that I like doing creative things and I nurture it. That's one thing. And I think nurturing creativity is a good way to, it's like the saying is, you can't use up creativity because the more you use it, the more you have. Okay, let's see. What has Katie and Sissy said? Katie said, somewhat, I can mix paints to get the color I want, and I can make stuffed animals to make people smile. So I guess that means I can be creative. Yes, you can totally be creative, and those are totally great reasons to think that you're creative. And then Sissy said, yes, I see myself creative because I see the beauty in the little things God created. Oh, that's awesome. And then Jatan said, I do many different creative things. And Katie, that's an awesome saying. I've never heard that before. That's awesome. Yeah, I love that too. Y'all all have awesome answers, and I'm loving this creative talk or whatever. Okay, so this is going back to what I was saying about God creating people, God making people creative and creating people to create. I think that's one of the, well, creating people, it gave people creativity. That's what I meant, because he didn't just create us to create, but he created us so that we can use creativity for his honor and glory. Um, so this goes along with that. Do you think that I might have, but I don't know. I don't know for sure if I have. Do you think that creativity is part of human nature, or is it something that must be nurtured and learned? Please explain your answer. And if you don't know any of the, if you can't hear me or you forget or whatever, they're down in, the questions are down in the description. You can just look down there and see the questions. I'm on number 3. So I think it's both. To me, it's human nature and it needs to be nurtured. And certain things, I don't think creativity has to be learned, but certain skills have to be learned. But I think creativity, you need, I think you need to nurture it. I think your human nature, like, yes, very true. I think that the ability, the creative ability that God has given us, or the ability to be creative that God has given us, needs to be nurtured. And then if there's a certain thing that you want to do, like crochet or, I don't know, paint a house or learn how to make bows or do this or that, you have to learn that. Okay. So let's see what y'all are saying. Think. Okay. Cece said that it's nature, human nature. Okay, and Jatan said, I think creativity is innate to each individual. Very true. And Katie said, I think it's both. We are all created with a spirit of creativity, like you said, and it needs to be nurtured. Totally 100% agree with you. Yes, I agree with that. And Jatan, yes, you hone your skills to learn, nurture along the way. Jatan, I sing. If I don't practice it, I'll get out of tune. That's so true. That's such a great way of illustrating my point of you have to nurture it because, well, it's like when you learn something, say you learn, oh no, I'm trying to think of something. You learn, what's something kind of, oh, I'll just say crocheting. Crocheting or knitting. You learn how to do that, and then say for 2 years you don't do it at all. When you come back to it, you're going to be a little bit, and I know out of tune is very with singing, but I'm going to just use that. You're going to be out of tune with your crocheting or your knitting because even I've done that, not doing something for a long time and then coming back to it with my crocheting. I get out of whack and I kind of forget, oh, how do you do this? And one thing I have to do is I have to go back and read Am I back? Can you see me? Okay. What the hell? Okay, what's going on? I don't get it. What did I do? Okay, I'm back. I don't know. I think maybe I mashed something that I shouldn't have or something. I have no idea what happened. It just said error and all. But okay, back to what Jatan was saying. Like riding a bike, rusty when you first go back, but remembered quickly. Yes. For a split second, thought I went deaf. Oh, no worries, you're not deaf. I'm still here. Okay. So the last question is, do you do anything creative? And I know all of your questions are going to be yes, yes, so true. So, do any of y'all do anything creative? And there's another part to this. I try not to think about, I try not to think that's about as creative as I get. No, you said you were spinning, and do you crochet or do you knit, or do you do both? And if you spin, that's creative right there. Um, okay. Katie said, I do a lot, but mostly painting, crocheting, and drawing. Usually it just hits me. I'll get into a creative mood and go for it. Cool. That sounds neat. Okay. Jatan, you said you sing. Ooh, cross stitching. Cool. I think that's becoming more popular lately because I've seen, I think it's called FlossTube on YouTube, and that's where people talk about cross stitching. I mean, I tried cross stitching. It's not for me, I don't think. No. Cross stitching is just not my cup of tea. But that's just it. Everyone has their own thing that they like and everything. So, and another part to this question is, if so if you have a creative thing, okay, freaky. Same here, Katie. I have to be in the mood for some crafts while some knitting is a zone out when there's no pattern to follow. Yes, so totally true, Ricky. Um, okay, so if you do something creative, how did you get into what you do? What's like your backstory about how you got into doing it? And I'll tell, I have kind of three aspects of things that I do creatively. Well, I haven't done it, one of them, in a very long time, but I very much want to get back into it. And I actually haven't done two in a while, but so my three things that I like to do creatively are crochet. That's basically what I do with yarn. I don't knit, even although I did buy probably 2 years ago a set of knitting needles to try it, but I haven't yet. I need to. So crochet, and then, well, maybe there's four because I don't really know how some of it fits together. Okay, I like to do, I want to say art, but not art. Like, I guess I should say mixed media. I like to do mixed media and just things with paper. Like, I like to do card making. That's kind of really the extent. Card making, and then it's mixed media. Um, and then what else? Sewing. That's one that I haven't done in years. It's been quite a few years since I've done any crocheting. And then I do I mean, not crocheting, sewing. Just a, and all I can really do with sewing is sew a straight line. So I can make simple things, but I do about just teeny little bit of jewelry making. So that's kind of the few things I do. But what got me started in doing crochet was my grandma, my nana, as I call her, crocheted all the time when I was a kid. And then once I was like 10, probably 12, I asked her to teach me, and she taught me. And the first thing I really was taught um, is was granny square, and it's been my absolute favorite ever since. I love it. I would rather do it than anything else crocheting wise. So I'm 31 now, so I've been doing it that long. Um, let's see. Sewing. We had a class at the church I used to go to where it was kind of like learning um like homemaking skills or whatever, and sewing was one of the things that we learned. So that's probably been maybe been 10 years or maybe a little bit over 10 to 12 years maybe. I don't know exactly how many years, but it's been a while. Yeah, probably at least 10 or could be more like 12. I don't know if it's been that long, but maybe 10. Yeah. And then the mixed media part, I just had started. I started first. The reason I got into like painting and drawing, well, not really drawing, but doing what do you call it? Just painting and just being. I don't want to say art because I feel like all of this is art, but doing art is in probably 2012, I think it was. I did a class. It was called Creative Activities for Children. Oh my gosh, I loved that class. I think if it was up to me, I would have every person ever to take that class or a version of that class because I love it. I think it was one of the best things, one of the best learning experiences for me. So, um, so ever since then, I've been very interested in art. Not that I wasn't before, but I wasn't really. I never thought I could do art because I can't draw and stuff. So I never thought that I should pursue art, should do art. Not like be an artist, like professional artist, but like just for fun. I never really thought that was me. I thought that was okay. My sister has that, and then I do crafts. But since 2012, I started being interested in art, and then after that, I just watched a lot of YouTube, and I just found mixed media and art journaling, and I loved it, and been hooked on all of that, and on journaling and planning and all of that, and all of the above ever since. A long time ago, I did like the early 2000s. I did scrapbooking, and no, that's not something I still do. But and then what else? Oh, card making. I just would see. Used to, I would go on blogs before really YouTube was real big to me. I would go on blogs and see where people had done card making, and I just loved it. And so that was probably middle 2000s, 2005, 6, 7, something like that. So ever since then, I've just kind of liked making cards. So, yep, that. But I've always, my entire life, I've done just creative stuff, and plus I like to cook. So. I think that's another creative thing. So let me see what all of these comments are saying. Okay, okay. I have all, okay, Katie was saying, okay, Katie, I have just always done it. When I was little, I would color on the walls, and then I just moved to paper. My mom taught me to crochet, and I was hooked. Totally the same with me. And Freaky, my mother and oldest brother got me interested in knitting. Both tried to teach me, but I picked up crochet faster. Self-taught with books, also knitting with help of books, and now YouTube for both. Cool, awesome. Katie, better to be hooked than stabbed. So true. Oh my goodness, ha ha ha. I knit too. I wanted to learn because I found a cat toy pattern. Wanted to make, I wanted to make for my kitten, and I've been doing it ever since. That's cool. Ricky, I've been crafty on and off for years. Always learning. And Katie, I think we're always, I think we're learning new things up until the day we die. I think that's so true that we're always learning. Always. Always, always, always. And, okay, I want to bring another thing. When I ask another thing, do you think that creativity only applies to like art and crafts and typical things like that, like the arts or the crafting? I don't. I think you can be creative in any part of your life, in any part whatsoever, and that I think basically everything you do takes a bit of creativity. Like, I agree, Katie. I think that anything like choosing an outfit can be creative. You can learn how to, you can figure out how to, like, especially people that are on a limited budget when it comes to clothes. You can take different things and mix them and match them in different ways, and that'll give you more options when it comes to clothing and more ways to express yourself. And my daughter is creative in placing furniture, pictures, doing her makeup. Oh, that is so my sister. She is so good at that stuff. My sister can take pictures. Oh my goodness. That's something else that my sister and my dad have that I don't. I'm not good at taking pictures. And then doing makeup, oh my gosh, my sister is amazing at it. Totally amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And she actually works at Sephora. So she's kind of a makeup artist. She does people's makeup there. But yeah. So yeah. And then I wanted to go back to color. And this goes along with a lot of about being creative and crafts and everything, but it really goes with the color part and with the beauty part. Is I wanted to ask, does okay, based on just the color part, does your perception of colors play into what your favorite color is? Like what you think about a certain color. Oh, that's awesome. It's totally awesome. Yeah. Her daughter upcycles almost everything. That's so awesome. I love that. I bet she has like the most creative bedroom. Um, but like when I don't remember which one of y'all, but one of y'all said, I think it was Katie, that her favorite colors were red and green, and I immediately thought of Christmas. That's a perception that I have that red and green are color, red and green are Christmas colors. Absolutely. If I'm not fond of a color, I won't use it much. So true. And like you think of certain things and you think you think of certain colors and you think of certain things like brown, you think of dirt. Of course, I like green, and just thinking about the color takes me, excuse me, out into the woods, my favorite place to be. The woods are a colorful place, but the green is overwhelming. Yeah, so true. Like certain colors make you think, and that's my favorite part about it. Yes, like brown will make you think of a neutral. Brown is a neutral, and brown is dirt and mud and all. Or green, you think of nature and natural things. Or and if you think of a color as a and you think of a certain thing, it may you may think this goes or this doesn't. Like if you think of blue and you think of food, there's not that's kind of a gross when you think of blue and food because most food isn't. It's like when remember when or they might still have it. I don't know. I haven't had it in years. They had the colored ketchup like blue and green and purple and all that. It was kind of gross a little bit. It was weird having purplish blue ketchup. Oh, that's my phone. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, but yeah, you don't. And do you also another question? Do you associate? Oh, I remember that. Okay, I remember that. Oh, that ketchup was disgusting. um, do you have like does society um I can't think of what I'm trying to say, but being um a mania when you say blue and food, I think of blueberries. But actually, I don't think of blueberries because to me, blueberries are not blue; they're purple. I've always wondered why do they call them blueberries when they look purple. To me, they look purple. When we painted the bathroom, the color on the paper looked nice, but a milk chocolate brown on the walls made me ill. I hated it. I bought floor tile to put on the walls instead. Oh, that's a cool idea. But yeah, you can think something looks good and then try it and it looks nothing like you thought it would. So, does society's influence affect how you think of color? And like I was saying with the the red and green, um the red and green. making you think of Christmas. That's very society oriented. That's very, I don't think that just a little bitty child is going to see red and green and automatically think Christmas. Not until they've been taught to think of, to associate certain colors with certain things. Or like you associate lighter colors with spring and darker colors with winter. Okay, let's see. Okay. When they are in the wild, they are blue, but when they are processed, they aren't blue anymore. The same for high bushed blueberries. Okay. Yep, like blue and pink, blue for baby boys and pink for girls. Long time ago, pink was the boys' color because it was a variant of red, which was a masculine color. Very interesting. Yep, and that shows not only Pastel's association with Easter. Yes, so true. That shows not only society having an influence on how we think of color, but how society has changed, and over time how the association with color with the society has changed. And I think that's very interesting, and that shows that stuff is always changing. But let me ask you this, not just like blue and green, I mean blue and pink, but in like things that you wear, not just clothing and things, but for other things. Do you associate colors with having a gender? Like, usually I would think like a very deep blue would be a manly color. That's just me. It's just a man color or a boy color, a guy color, whatever. And then like pink is girl color. Or like light blue is a girl color. Or I don't know, different things. Split pea soup and baby food. Yeah, yeah. You think of certain things and it's not as appealing. Okay, so does that affect how you think of art? Not just color, but art and being creative and craft and everything. Does society affect that as well? Do you have any preconceived notions of like about art or about crafts or whatever? And I think that I do. I try so hard to get out of it. Okay, jolly good time. You're going to go bye bye. Because I think you are a troll. Hide user on the show. Okay, let's see. I'm going to remove that. And then I'm going to hide you on this channel. Yes. Okay. Because you are a troll. Okay, but like I was saying, okay, some art that seeks super expensive I look at and think my kids, who are pretty talented, do much better. It says, yeah, I kind of agree with that. But my thing, I think what I have as a preconceived notion is like what is what art is and what art isn't. And I guess that's something that I'm trying to change within myself of thinking because I don't want to just automatically think, oh, art is a drawing or art is a painting. No, because art can be anything. There's just decorating a house can be art, or the way someone does their hair can be art, or I don't know, the way you fix a plate of food can be art, and different things. And crocheting a sweater could be art. Okay, Katie. My mom thinks the same, and I kind of agree. I think a lot of it has to do with the name, like the artist's name. You're pretty much buying the name. Oh, that's so true. Because I think that goes to this whole thing of it's like with movies and movie stars or whatever, and TV shows and TV stars or whatever. It's like, okay, you've done some commercials, but you may be an actor or an actress, but you're not a star. Whereas it's basically when you see a movie preview, you hear, like when you see the movie preview or when you hear someone talk about a movie, it's a lot of name dropping. Whereas, and the same with books, I think a lot of things with books and movies, it's more, it's a lot of name dropping. Like you're saying, oh, um, so true. But it's even great actors, but you'll be like, oh, Pirates of the Caribbean. It has Johnny Depp, and people even ask. You can tell all about the movie, and you can think, oh, this is a great movie, but you ask, who's in it? Who's who wrote the book? Who, you know, all this. Not it's not as much about the work as it is about who's doing the work, if that makes any sense. And I don't think that that's totally right. Not that people don't deserve their due, but I think you need to focus on the work and on if you actually like this or if you're just watching it solely because certain actor you like or something. I've got to run. Have a blessed night. Well, you have a blessed night too. I'm fixing to be done in just a minute. So, just can you tell me, do you think I should continue on with the same topic next week? Or do you think I should just let this be this topic and then I'll finish what I was let this be the last one for this topic and change and go on to another topic. Um, so I think with art it's the same way. Like somebody would say, this was done, oh I'm sorry. Somebody would say, oh this is a Thomas Kincaid painting, and like automatically you think you have a preconceived notion about it because a certain person did it. You don't just take it at face value. Kind of like if a parent sees a certain painting or certain something that they just see something that's been created, they're going to think one thing about it, but then if they know their child created it, then they're going to feel different about it. It's all about the connection you have with the piece, but the connection you have with the piece would comes through the creator of the piece. And the same with the movie. You don't just implicitly like a movie, you like actors and actresses, and that in turn makes you like a movie or like it more. Oh my goodness, Frankie. You're so funny. Okay, so that's what I feel about that. Been a little too long talking about that. But, and another thing that I wonder is, is our perception of beauty when it, in regards to art and crafts and all, is that done by society and by everything? Because I think we have maybe some preconceived notions about beauty in all aspects. And I think when people are trying to be a certain thing, that's not always, when you're trying to be beautiful, I don't know if, are you trying to be truly beautiful? Okay. Um, so is what you think beauty is something from you, or is it just, what do you believe about beauty? What is beauty to you? To me, I don't think it's an easy thing to define because there's many aspects of it, and I think that there's like natural beauty as far as nature. A tree can be beautiful. A a flower. Yeah, it is a hard question because there's different kinds of beauty and different facets of beauty. But I think a lot of beauty when it relates to art and creativity and crafting, I like the old thought that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Mind you don't quite get what it means. It just sounds nice. I totally agree with that because no two people are going to look at one thing and think the same about it. One person could think that it's exquisite, and another person could think that's the ugliest thing I've ever seen. You know? So, and I'm thinking, like I was saying a while ago, I think that it um has to do with your connection with it, about how you perceive its beauty. Because, like, if it, say it's flowers that you grew from seed, no matter if it's not your favorite, absolute favorite, you're gonna like it and think it's more pretty than you would just, even if someone else had roses. Okay, okay, Frankie. Okay, like snakes and spiders, I love them both, and they are complex and beautiful in their own way. A lot of people hate them and think they are ugly, excuse me, because of their dislike of them. Oh, totally. I can't stand snakes and spiders. Hate them. I really do. I can't stand them. And they kind of creep me out, you see? But I don't think, okay, I don't hate them, but they just scare the crap out of me. Yeah, that's kind of me. But I hate them because they scare the crap out of me. But, yeah, like I was saying, like that. It's all about how your connection with things. And like, okay, say someone lives in a big city. Yep, yeah, biologist talking. Uh, okay, that's cool. If someone lives in a big city and they've lived in a big city their entire life and they've only ever been in big cities, they're gonna have a more of an affinity for tall buildings and interesting architecture than someone that lives like out in the country or in suburbia, because they're not gonna, like, I can't stand a big city. It just overwhelms me, and I'm just, oh my gosh, there's too much. There's too many people. There's too many big buildings. All this, but somebody else may see it and be like, oh, this is just my speed. This is just me. This is right up my alley, you know? So, okay, like with the snakes and spiders, I would say that that goes against the norm because most people don't like snakes and spiders. What would you say is something else that you kind of go against the norm with your thoughts about, like, anything about art, beauty, nature, life, whatever? I'm so happy you said that. I feel the same way and tried to put that in a school paper, but apparently it isn't a fact, meaning scientists haven't researched it, so it's not a thing. Okay, what are you? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Is it what I said about snakes and spiders and that's not the norm? Or is it just the general gist of what I've been saying, or what I don't really understand? I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about people in cities and people in the country. Okay, yeah, that was just something I was using as an example, but yes, it's totally the way I feel, but I don't understand why that wouldn't be a fact because I feel like that's been researched. I feel like you could go online and find where that's been researched before. Yeah, totally. But yeah, it kind of does upset me too that your teacher told you that. It seems like, but it's not. I think the fact would be that environment for longer periods of time has an effect on you, and what you're used to becomes like if you're always in the city, you're gonna like the city. Probably you're probably gonna have an affinity for the city. Or if you're in the country, you're gonna like being in the country. If it's all you've ever known, then that's what you're gonna know. Okay. I think it has to do with me being a conservative Republican, and he is a liberal Democrat, so he doesn't like much of my papers. Well, that sucks. That's kind of rough, but it is what it is. So, I think to sum it up, I think that what with everything I've been trying to say, I think that art and crafting and um, creativity and beauty, I think they're all that each person is creative, has the ability and capacity to do some kind of art, no matter what it is, even if it's just that you're good at, like they say, the art of negotiation. You're a good negotiator. That can be an art. God could have gave you that ability, and then with crafts, there's different kinds, and yes, they can be art. And with beauty, I think the best way to sum it up is like um someone said, was it a Freaky or I think Freaky or Katie one, or maybe it was Jaton, I'm not sure who said it, said that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And there's many different forms of beauty, many different capacities. So to each their own. To me, as far as all of it goes, I think everyone has the capacity to be creative, to make art, to craft, and to be beautiful inside and out, and to create beauty, and to recognize beauty. And I think it all comes from God because most beautiful things are in the natural world that God created. And He's the ultimate artist and creative, and he has the most creativity. So just, I guess what I'm trying to say is just be creative and use your gift, whatever that is, and nurture it. And the more you use it, the more you have, and that's it. So, does anybody have any ideas for what we should chit chat about next week? Because I'm really kind of, I don't really have any ideas. I'm kind of wondering what to talk about next week. Hmm. Should I totally go to a different thing and talk about nothing crafty, nothing, no specific craft, no nothing creative, nothing to do with art, nothing beauty, just something totally different? Oh, that's what I should talk about? That's cool. I like that. Things to do on a rainy day. Okay. Or are you asking me that question? Because there's a lot of things I do on a rainy day. A lot of different things. I like that idea. Kinda. But how could, yeah, you can make that into a discussion. Things to do on a rainy day. Or what do you do on a rainy day? I like that. I think I might do that one next week, but I may have other ideas as well. I don't know. Well, I think I'm done for now. I think I'm gonna go. So, it's been really great chatting and having this discussion. I may go live on YouTube, on Instagram after this. I'm not sure, but I might. So if I do, you can join or join in the chat or whatever. So, bye and God bless.